Hey everyone, welcome back to Chocolate and Spice Two Brown Women Talk. I'm Nidhi, and today we are diving into a topic that probably caused a lot of family argument, and the topic is money.
Exactly. And I'm Neha, and we are talking about how two sisters raised in the same house by the same parents with the same cultural values can end up with completely different relationships with money.
And I am what some people might call spender. I love investing in experiences. I'm not afraid to go for a good splurge. And if I love something, I have already probably bought it.
And I'm the saver. I've been tracking my finances since, I don't know, I was 12. I love spreadsheets, I hate waste, and I still think twice before buying something that's not off the sales rack. So today we're going deep how we think about money, how we manage it, and what all of this says about who we are. Whether you're a spender, a saver, or just trying to figure all of it, this episode is for you. I'm going to start with you, Nidhi, because, like you claim, you're the spender. So, what are your earliest money memories?
I think my earliest money memories are from the time I was 10 or 11. I had a very clear understanding when we were growing up that we were middle class. We were certainly not very affluent because I had rich friends. So I knew what rich looked like. And we were certainly not that. But I always knew that we got everything we wanted. It was never like I wanted stationery or I wanted a new dress or I wanted to throw a birthday party. That was never denied to me. So I always got what I liked. And my personality was always to push the limits. So I would always try to get something more expensive and try to see how much can I push my parents' limit. Will they get this for me? I always tried that and I failed. So I always knew that where we stand financially. And I don't know if you remember, but Papa always used to say a few things to us that he's always saving for our marriage and for our education. And that was very crystal clear in my mind. And being born and brought up in India, culturally, our parents always take care of our wedding and they take care of the education. So that was pretty obvious. And they also talked very openly about their retirement. Like once they retire, what would that look like? How is their pension coming along? How is the health insurance coming along? So those were like memories that I remember when I was very young. We very openly talked about money, and I certainly knew what was my limit, even as a young girl. And I knew you might have a different perspective on it, but what is your memory?
Yeah, it's very interesting you had observed all of this. And I can't even say I thought about money or our family finances that way. Um, for me, it was I didn't consciously think about it. And maybe because for me, I was not a spender right off the bat, like right from my childhood, right? So I never thought what does it mean to be rich or not? And also remember I'm an introvert, which means I didn't go out a lot. So unlike you, it's not like I went to a lot of different places and met a lot of people and they talked about a lot of different things. So I was very content with whatever we had. And yeah, I like if you're asking me about my earliest money memories, all I can think of is I never considered spending any. Like honestly, the idea that I would be spending money or I would ask our parents to spend money simply didn't exist. It's like if I'm not getting anything, I'm perfectly fine with it,
Yeah.
was my attitude in life.
Yeah, you didn't even ask for new things on the birthday or Diwali, Dashera. It was mostly me pushing for things, and obviously they couldn't get things for just one daughter. They had to get it for both. But yeah, completely remembered that you used to just make things work, and
Yeah.
I would certainly be the materialistic one. But do you think our parents ever treated us differently? Or did we just interpret things differently because of a different personality? Or do you think a birth order had a role to play in this?
I think our birth order and our personalities, like the introversion extroversion part, played a role. That's my opinion. And I say birth order because what I do know is that, and also it's not like it's intrinsically, I'm intrinsically aware of it. It's more like our mom told me about it, which is when I was born, their family finances were not that great or as great as when you were born. and because we do have several years of difference between us. And so perhaps that impacted in some way, because perhaps, like, as I was growing up, I didn't get like a lot of toys or a lot of things, and I didn't see plenty, and therefore I knew that plenty is not required. While I do remember, like, when you were born, I don't, like, as you were growing up, you'd get so many toys and dolls and new things and my things as well. So you always grew with comparatively more of plenty, and so you probably expected that. And I think it's also personality, because, like I said, I'm an introverted person, and I'm a very home person, right? Like a homebody. Even from my childhood, one of my biggest terrors would be if mommy would be like, let's go shopping outside to a shop. I clearly remember if mommy would be like, we need to buy you a new dress, let's go shopping. I'd be like, worst day of my life. I absolutely did not want to do that, because I couldn't imagine why. I would be very content, first of all, in my own world of books and music and whatever I used to make. And second, I used to truly enjoy things that were given to me in a different way. And I've mentioned this in our other podcast episodes, which is like, let's say if mommy had something that I could wear, or I mean, obviously, when I was a child, I couldn't. So some of our cousins would give some of their things. I appreciated that. A lot of handmade things. If somebody had painted something or made something with their hands, I would really appreciate that. I don't know, like, I always had an affinity to those things versus buying something brand new. And I cannot quite explain it. I'll have to think a little harder on why this personality trait, but it may have been related to the fact that I was like very content in my own world and didn't want any extrinsic motivation. I actually remember I had one doll, and that one doll, from my earliest childhood memories all the way to middle school, I had that one doll. And somehow it survived all my extra work on it. And that's all I had. I don't remember ever asking for another toy. And I would just play games, like pretend play games, and just be happy with that. So, yeah, to answer your question, yes, I do think it is a bit of birth order, it's a bit of personality, but never at any time do I remember our parents ever saying, hey, if you ask for something, you will not get. In fact, I remember the opposite. I remember Papa always telling me, you can ask for something. Do you want it? He would push me so hard to buy something. Be like, this one, this is more expensive. Would you like this? I'm like, I actually, I couldn't care less.
I asked for so much, and they were so surprised that you would never ask for anything. And they were like, what, is there something wrong? Because she's always asking and pushing herself. And, the elder daughter is just, I don't know if this is a little bit of introvert or extrovert. Again, I have no clue. I've not done the research. But from my personal experience, I can say that it was always joy for me from the very beginning. And what brought me joy is maybe buying a new outfit, dinners out with friends, drinks with friends, little getaway, thoughtful gifts, or even just a cute dress that I saw in a boutique. Now that I'm older, obviously I make my own money, so I certainly don't overthink any of that. I just go for it. Upgrading a flight, if I can afford it, I just go for it. So this is how I celebrate life. I feel like I celebrate these moments and celebrate these experiences. And I'm not sure if this is like for every extrovert, but I can just say from my personal experience. And you have been more like a spreadsheet person. You would read a consumer report before investing anything. So I don't know if you think it's introvert versus extrovert, but it's certainly very different for both of us.
Yeah, and I feel like it may be because what gives you joy in these things is not what gives me joy, and that could be very personality based. And joy is important, however you want to achieve it, right? For me, even if I did all of that, like even if I were like getting massages every month, or the other stuff that you mentioned, it would be so momentary that it wouldn't impact my life. The way I think about spending is, what is that thing that's going to give me sustained joy instead of that momentary high? I mean, I do give into momentary high. I will say, like, I go and buy a dress, like, I do care for clothes and stuff. But for most other things, like eating dinner, I almost never want to go out and eat dinner, because I would much rather eat healthy food every day and good food every day than just one night of extremely good food. And then I'm not an extrovert, so I hardly go out with friends and hang out and stuff like that. So I do think it's personality. I agree with you on that. And in my opinion, if we are taking those kind of decisions and if you're very aware of it, like you're very clearly aware of how you're spending money, that's all that matters. So I'm wondering, like, what does luxury mean to you in this context?
So honestly, it's certainly not about designer labels. It's more about how things make me feel. So I don't care about Gucci or Chanel or Louis Vuitton. I just wouldn't care about it. Luxury for me is more comfort and quality. Like if a flight is more than 6 hours, I will upgrade it without thinking. And then travel in general is how I like to spurge. And then going to good places to eat. Again, I know in that case we are very different. Again, going to a Michelin star restaurant or having nice drinks in a nice bar with my friends, or like my husband is a total car guy, so even if we go out, he would rent a really nice car rather than staying in a hotel. Airbnbs are more expensive, but I would rather go and stay in an Airbnb and have a separate room for my son Vikram and for us, and have a nice kitchen and have the whole experience. So that for me is luxury. And for everyday luxury, it's like getting good skincare. A lot of skincare is more expensive, and I don't think twice before spending $100 on a serum. And then buying organic groceries and high quality food. So all of this thing is luxury for me. Yeah. What
Yeah,
about you?
amazing. And like I said earlier, it shows on your face, right? Like you take care of things that you think are important, and it shows on your face, which is great. For me, same, like luxury doesn't necessarily mean brand names, but what it does mean for me, if you're talking about clothes, is I have to feel good in it, and I have to feel like I'm looking good in it. So that's important for me. And often those things can be more expensive, just because of the time and effort that's been put in them, which is how I explain the luxury brands, which is like not all, but some luxury brands will just have the right amount of attention to detail and craftsmanship that shows in the cost. And
Mhm.
so to me, then it becomes worth it. But you know my habit of thrifting as well. So I will often buy those more luxury brands thrifted if I feel like it. So those are the areas I do splurge in because I feel like it is long lasting and it's going to give me sustained joy because every day, like this jacket, for example, or the watch that I'm wearing, every day when I wear it, I can really appreciate the beauty of what the art of how it's been made, and that gives me happiness. And to the other areas that you mentioned, I hardly like going out. The times that I go out are when, my son wants to go out and I would like to spend time with him. And so those are the times when I do go out. Other areas, yeah, I mean, for me, luxury is like living a comfortable, calm, peaceful life. That's luxury. Like every day, I don't have to rush, 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 do a bunch of things and always feel like somebody's pushing me and always worrying. If I don't have like any of those issues, that's luxury.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And how do you associate money? Do you associate money with freedom or security, joy, status?
Freedom and security, for sure. The way I look at it is, life is very unpredictable, right? Like it is, you cannot say what you have now is what you're going to have tomorrow, and you just don't know what's going to happen at any given time. And so the knowledge that there is at least some security via money is great for me, right? Because while money, a lot of money will not give you a great health and a great amount of joy, the amount of money that you need, it will give you that comfort and security knowing that you can do other things. So, I feel calmer and I feel more able to do or pursue other passions of mine because I know that there is some in the bank or that I'm able to earn some. Um, in the future. So for sure, for me, it's not about status, not about showing off to others. I'd much rather actually not show off to anyone, but it is really about my own freedom.
Yeah,
How about you?
exactly. I mean, I think on that topic, I think we both have the same view. It's certainly freedom. It also gives you the option to say yes to thing that matters. I think that's a big thing for me. Security, again, as you said, a sense of knowing that things will be okay in case of unexpectedly something happens. So that is a security, and money does bring me joy. So that is another part of it. Like in a materialistic sense, maybe yes, but in for me, it's in a way to create experiences. So I would say freedom is on the top of the list, then security for me for money.
Yeah, 100%. And are there some money values or rules that you've set in your household that has worked really well?
I think money is a core part of a relationship. And growing up, I think we both saw our parents very openly talk about money. It was never a stigma. It was never a thing that was hush hush around the house. I remember openly my and Papa sitting together talking about retirement, talking about the money they have in the bank, and how they setting us up for success, setting themselves up for success. So I always saw it as a team effort, and that had a very deep impact on me. So we both got married very early. So we started with very little. And from the very beginning, our core values, my husband and my core values were the same. So we always talked about money, and our spending habits were not identical, but we always align on the big picture, like what we value, how do we want to save, how do we want to set up requirement, how do we want to set up account for our son. So we don't question any of that extra spending that we do as a couple. For example, my husband has a physical trainer, he goes to chiropractor. So all of this health is a priority. I never bring that up. All of these things cost money, right? But I never bring that up. I have my own little luxuries, like I go to spa. I have expensive creams, and I invest a lot on our food and my exercise routine and the apps that I use. And none of them we question on that, because I just feel the best gift that I can give to my partner is my good health and my happiness. And that is what brings joy in our families. And we both understand that completely, and we both are on the same page. And one other thing that we like to spend money on is, and we agree on, is education and courses. Like we both are in tech career, and where the tech is going. So we often do courses, and a lot of those courses online to keep up with our career are not cheap. So we never question any of us, like if we are both are doing courses, even if that costs hundreds of dollars, we just support each other fully, because that is how we become the best version of ourselves. So these are the values as a couple that is sustainable for us in a family. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think
And I
about
think
that?
yeah. Yes, similar answer. And I think we both got lucky. We are very fortunate in that our partners are very similar to us, especially in the money habits. Because my husband is very much like me in that he's more of a saver than a spender. And so it really works out well, because then we have similar thoughts on where we want to spend versus not. I will say he's more of a saver than I am. So I get to learn a lot from him, especially about sustainability and stuff. Like, he tends not to throw things if he can use and reuse it. Earlier in our marriage, I used to be like, why do you have to save everything? And then over time I learned more from him. So yeah, and buying off sale, like, there's nothing wrong in waiting a few seasons. It's not like we have to have the latest and the greatest. It's okay to buy on sale. And so so those are things I learned from him. So yeah, very similar attitude towards money, and that helps us keep a balance in our
Yeah.
household.
Mhm.
And so just following up on that question, is there a specific way that you and Siddharth manage money?
So my husband and I, we have our own way of managing money. It's a mix of intention, automation, and teamwork. And for us, it's very important that we put intention behind money as a family. So we keep a year full of expenses in emergency fund, and we put that in a high yield saving account, so that that keeps getting some interest. That gives us peace of mind. We both invest heavily, and we both are very hands-on about it. We do use Charles Schwab Intelligent Portfolio. It's an automated investment account that aligns with our risk level and goals. It's low effort, but it keeps our money well invested. And we max out our 401k. I think at this point, most of us should be doing that, and we contribute to the long-term investment portfolio that we also have built ourselves. We are lucky that we do have financial advisor that comes with the portfolio that we have. We utilize that advisor very frequently, a couple of times a year, so that we know where we stand with our retirement plan. If we have to course correct as life changes, we are able to do that pretty quickly. We have also diversified our investment. As a couple, we do like to buy stocks. But one thing that we do very well that also kind of spices up our marriage that we do invest a lot in research. Like if we want to invest in a stock, it's not just one person goes and does it blindly. It has to be a team effort. Like if I want to invest in a certain stock, I actually make a case to my husband. I actually go and listen to the earnings call for the last quarter and say why I think we should invest this $1,000 in this stock. And then we both have to be on the same page, and then we make the decision. So that is like also helps us understand where our mind is going, keeps us sharp. And I just love that every month we kind of do that. And yeah, those are some of the things that I think we are setting us up for financial success.
I love it. It's super structured, and I love the fact that you're both very invested in all the decision making, and also that you have to make a case for it, which is a
Like,
new thing that
just
I've.
don't do that alone. It's like, and there many times he has vetoed my decision, and so have I. But yeah, whatever we choose, if we fail, we fail together. But if we succeed together. There's no calling out each other, you know. So
That's amazing. I love that. Yeah, it's like combined and shared responsibility, and so you're not blaming anyone. I would say, like, honestly, everything that you said applies to my household as well. We do almost all of those things except the case thingy, which I have to tell my husband about. The one thing I will add is, especially when we've had like some big expenditure, and I'm giving this based on my recent events. Like last year, we'd had our house extended and remodeled, and living in Bay Area, California, that's a very, very expensive thing to do. And we did, make a more conscious decision to be very careful about our expenditure for some more time before going all out on something bigger. And so, like, we try to balance out where we spend, especially like a big amount of money, so that we're not just like spending without thought. So, yeah, that's the only other different thing. All right, let's move into next generation and how we are teaching money to our next generation. So, I'm wondering, Vikram is, 6 years old. How are you helping him shape up with financial knowledge?
So I have been talking about money with Vikram from the time he was 3, and now finally that he's 6, I think he able to understand the concept of money, and at this age he can grasp that money is earned through work. If you spend money, that means you have less of it, and that saving money means waiting for something better later, and you can utilize it however you want, so you save money.
Yeah.
So for example, we have chore chart where he does a couple of chores and he gets couples of dollar towards the end of the week. We also have a 3 jar system in our house. There are 3 literal jars. It says spend, save, and share. So spend is something, whatever he gets from doing the chores, he can utilize that to spend it on something. Mostly it's Legos. And save is something he's saving, and eventually in a couple of months, if he wants to like spend it on something big, he get a chance to save that. But he sees like if he saves it, that grows.
Mhm.
And share is something we are trying to teach him, how he can contribute to people, to any
Yeah,
cause he has.
yeah.
Like for his birthday, if his grandparents gave him a couple of $100, and if he wants to put it in the share, then we say, all right, so these are the causes, and these are like, do you want to send it to a children's hospital, do you send it for some other cause, however you want. So I help him understand, and then he's able to share it. It's been a very grounding experience, not just for him, but for me, because I think money is really teaching values. So it gives me real joy that my husband and I, we both have been able to bring that concept of finance into his life early on. A few other things that we are doing apart from like teaching him about money is we have added him as an authorized user on our credit card, and I did that as soon as he was born. So how
Mm,
that works is I added him as an authorized user to my credit card. So a card is issued in his name. Obviously, he doesn't use it. I use it. I make sure I make the payment every month. So he kind of leeches onto my good credit score, or I don't know if leech is the right word. He piggybacks on my good credit score. So by the time he's 18, he has a clean credit history,
mm,
and then he can, rent his apartment or do whatever he wants to do at the age of 18. And we obviously have opened up a 529 plan for him when he was born. So it's like a college saving meets tax advantage investment account. So every dollar we put in there is invested for his future education. It grows over tax free. It can be utilized for his education, books, even some K-12 costs. So basically we are setting his up for any of his future loan burden
Mhm.
without really putting a dent into our retirement fund. So that remains untouched. So that money totally is for him. So those are a few of the things that we have done for Vikram to set him up for success. Yeah.
Love it. This is very well thought of, so organized. Like it speaks highly to your organization skills, and you're really great at managing whatever it is that you've picked up. Yeah, I mean, for me, and I don't, I like, I will acknowledge I was not at all structured as my son was growing up. He's 19, almost close to adult, like he's already an adult, but also getting closer to real adulthood. What I will say is, I had done things about finance with him very unconsciously. And so the way I approached buying things for him is with a very thoughtful way, which is like, I would be like, you're only going to get gifts for certain reason. Buying something shouldn't be based on like, oh, I like something, I'll just go buy. It should be based on, ideally, there is an occasion like a birthday, or maybe it's a Christmas, or maybe your grandparents are here and they want to give you something. And so I would even tell our, like, when our parents would visit us, like, don't buy him anything, just don't buy him randomly. Like, we'll talk about it and then you can buy. And so they also respected that decision. So he would get, and he was also a fan of Lego, so he would get Legos and some of the bigger Legos on, say, Christmas. And then I would make sure he understands that the Lego that he's got is a very big Lego, so it costs this much money. And so it is important that he be careful with it, and that he respect, it. And so he would, to his credit, he would spend hours and days and sometimes weeks and months on that one Lego, and really admiring his handiwork and playing with it, instead of just like jumping into what's the next thing that he wanted. And I do feel that it helped ground him to a great extent on finances. Plus he saw how, his dad and I spent money, which is to say, not a lot. And the one time that, especially when he was moving from high school into college, there was this one time, and one time only, that he asked us to splurge. He was like, I'm moving into college, and he's into eating really well. And so he was like, I want to eat in some really good restaurants. And I was like, okay, tell me, what are those good restaurants you want to eat in? And so he actually made a list. Like, he did his research, he found all the Michelin star restaurants that he cared for. Like, he has a specific cuisine that he likes. And then we were like, okay, fine, every week in your summer vacation, you can choose one Michelin star restaurant, we're going to go there and eat. So that was a splurge, but it was a very thoughtful splurge. He planned it out, he understood what he's asking for, and it was more like a moment in life that he really wanted to remember by. And for us as a family, it's something that we hopefully will always remember, because we've never done that before. So yeah, that's how at least I try to
Yeah, I
help
mean,
myself.
I think like Aryan, your son is 19, and so many years back, I don't think there was enough education about how do you do it. Like what you did is exactly what I do. I just have fancy names for it, and maybe because now there is more podcast or more awareness about it, which you didn't have
Yeah,
19
yeah,
years back. So, but yeah, I mean, you've done a great job. Like I know that even the restaurant portion, you made him work hard for it.
yeah.
It's not just he said that I want to go and eat in a fanciest restaurant. It's like, no, look at the menu beforehand, know exactly what you want.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, that's beautiful. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, I think ultimately with kids, it becomes a point of, are they self aware and are they thoughtful about those decisions? Because, a lot of parents can spend more money versus not. And as long as kids understand the situation and make a conscious choice, I feel like it works out. So
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents.
All right, let's do some hot takes
Hot
that will,
take.
I hope,
Okay.
not get us cancelled. All right,
I don't know.
I'll start the. All right, so my hot take is that every couple, married or partners, if you're living together, every couple should know each other's account's password. And personally, I feel one person handling all the finances, it's not romantic. It's very, very risky. Like in our house, we have shared password access to all the accounts, all the investment portfolio. Transparency isn't just about trust, it's also about preparedness. So yeah, that's how I feel. Like we have our own individual accounts, we have our joint account, but we both should know how much we both have, and we should have shared passwords. And I just feel like that is something that, especially being a woman, I think we are not taught to do that, and we are not taught to speak up. We are not really taught to ask for money, but I think we should be very open about all of these things and talk about it openly. So that's my hot take. One other thing, I know you might have more to say on it, and you've already said how you're teaching your son about it. It's like kids should know the cost of things. I don't think we should be hiding how much things cost. Shielding them from money talks is not healthy. So that's why I always tell my son, like if he goes to a private school, it's like, this costs money. This Lego, the big one that you bought, costs this much money. Mama and Papa work very hard to make that money. Like when we were coming to California to meet you, it was only a 3-hour flight. Obviously, I didn't book a business class. And he was like, "Oh, Mama, I'm sleepy. Can this seat not like go long?" Because we went to India.
Yeah,
We had upgraded. And I'm like, for him, he doesn't get it. He's only 6. For
yeah,
him, he doesn't, it's kind of a privilege. Like he
yeah.
just thinks it's going to open up. And at that moment, I got so angry. It's like, what? Do you think things not cost money? And then I'm like, he's only 6. He doesn't get it. Then I explained to him, all of those things cost so much extra money. So if it is not really required, we don't do it. So, but yeah, to explain that to our kids is very important, just the way you did it with Aryan. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely true. And like that balance of how much do we let them spread their wings and how much do we ensure they understand the constraints is very important. And it's like a hard balance, right? Like you said, you had Vikram take the business class and now he's like, oh, well, that's not normal, but it is not necessarily normal. Yeah, I do the same thing. I did the same thing with Aryan, my son, which is like he was always aware, especially if it was a fancy purchase, especially mostly a fancy Lego or a toy purchase, and make sure he understands that. Or like we went to Disneyland or going to Universal, like things that he wanted to do as a kid. And those are expensive trips because those are expensive places to just go and buy tickets for. And so he'd understand that it can only happen on his birthday. We're not gonna like randomly any time of the year just go. So he did have an understanding and I made sure of that. But I also let him ask for things. So he like, hey, can I get a video game console? And I'm like, well, think about it. Do you feel like it's going to justify the cost, and do you think that's where your energy is best spent? And after much thinking, we were like, maybe not, right? So it was not like you cannot ask for it, but let's talk about it and let's make a very conscious decision. So I totally agree. This is a great hot take for me as well. A hot take, another hot take for me is also because we're from India and we've seen how sometimes money talks can be hidden, especially as when you're the woman in the relationship, because money typically, especially if you're not earning it, is not something that women would talk about. Like we've seen our grandparents and our parents often, here's the money that they would have got and they'd spend it and they're not going to be asking a lot more. But I don't think that's the great direction. One, marriage is a partnership, right? And so actually your money, your income is also a partnership, depending upon whether you are earning or whether you are more of a homemaker. You should always have the awareness of how it's coming, where it's coming from, and how you manage it, depending upon like your skill set in that area. But for me, like often people are like, oh, you're making money, or you're thinking so much about money, you're so ambitious. This is super feminist. One, I think being called a feminist is a good thing. I have no issue with that. But second, it is a human thing to do. Everybody should be conscious of what keeps them secure and financially free, and should be able to spend thought and create structure. Like you created a great structure around it. And I truly believe that's what gives us the kind of peace and health that we all strive for.
Yeah. And irrespective of the gender, like specifically because there is a pay gap, but everybody should ask, like, if you are a working person, you should not be afraid to ask. And that is something I've learned in my career for like a pay raise or from a promotion. It's like I've just seen, if you ask, you get it. And there shouldn't shy away from it. So that's my personal experience. Like you ask for it, what's the worst thing that could happen? They'll say no, but you tried. And you should not be just satisfied. It's like, oh, I'm so grateful. It's like, no, you work hard. That's why you're getting this thing. Like nobody just gives you money for free. Uh,
Absolutely. I mean, ambition is often, that's why I was thinking like ambition is often considered a feminist word with a negative connotation, which I don't agree with. Ambition is independent
mhm.
of anything. If you're ambitious, it's great. Be ambitious. If you're not ambitious, great. Enjoy life. And money is often associated with ambition. And so you can ask for what you think is your worth. So yeah, I'm glad we both agree on that. So yeah, anyway, you know what struck me today is like we are so different, right? We're introverts, extrovert, but we're actually looking for the same thing, especially when it comes to money. That is security, peace of mind, and I think we want our kids to also grow up to be very smart with money and be kind with it.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely right. And there is no perfect way to do money. I mean, spenders might feel that they are very joyful day to day, and savers, might sleep better at night. But maybe the real gift we are giving a kid is that they actually get to see both sides and decide what actually works for them. So,
Yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, you know, money is a tool, right? Like how we use it, how we teach our kids about it and ourselves about it, and how we talk about it says a lot about our values and our bank accounts. So, you know, it's really how you think about money and how you perceive money to impact your life. It's all in our heads.
absolutely. And so, whether if you are team saver or team spender or somewhere in between, I hope this episode gave you something to think about, or at least made you feel that you are certainly not alone in this money madness. Thank you so much for tuning in to Chocolate and Spice to Brown Women Talk. Oh my god, I didn't try the last part in now. Like, why don't you just, we'll cut that and just put the plug in.
Okay, you forgot to add the usual plugins. Like money talks with sister. That's it. ChatGPT is so funny.
Oh my god, that was so weird. Yeah, we won't even. Yeah, just.
All right, I can try to say it like impromptu. Okay, so thanks for tuning in to Chocolate and Spice, Two Brown Women Talk. This was an episode that was hard for both of us to talk about, but I think we really enjoyed and learned from each other as well, and hope you enjoyed it. As usual, if you liked our episode, please make sure to give us a thumbs up and leave some comments, especially if you have any questions on money that we could help with, but also share your story so we can learn from. And our website is chocolateandspicetalk.com. So do check it out because we always post a blog after our episode, and we also share some behind the scene photographs and some behind the scene fun. Additionally, we have our Instagram account, which also has a lot of fun postings. So do check us out there as well. All right.
All
See
right.
you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you next episode. Bye.